Welcome back to this video on asynchronous programming in F#. We're currently discussing the mail processor unit or class that is pre-implemented in F#. And in the last video, we looked at do versus do bang and when we would use each of these. In this video, we're going to look at one of the aspects of this inbox. So this is another thing that we just took for granted in the original implementation. And I want to just quickly show you one feature, which is the queue length that we have associated with this one. What the inbox is a queue of messages that we receive. This mail processor that we have is running as an independent thread or as an independent process in our program. And one key thing about this is it's asynchronous, meaning that it runs in, asynchronously to everything else, but it is sequential, meaning that if we have a number of messages coming in, we will treat them one at a time. And this inbox here is really a queue of messages that we get inbound, and we need to treat them one by one. So as we're looping through this loop function, we will get one message at a time and we will print it. And the inbox parameter per default has an attribute called QueueLength, which you can use to see how many messages you have in the queue. So to see how that works, let's simply alter our statement a little bit. So I'll just remove this printout that we had before, cut the sleeping time down a little bit like this. And in my print statement, I'm going to say QueueLength like that, and then print an integer like so. And here I would use inbox.QueueLength. So this attribute of the inbox lets us attain or sort of see how many messages we have in our queue. If I illustrate this by extending the amount of messages that I send, so that instead of just having one, we have a whole bunch like this. I'm not going to bother with changing whatever the post name says, but if I execute this now, let's have a look at what actually gets printed when we print this queue length. So as we start printing here, you can see that we get the message hi each time, and we have a queue length that starts at 9 and then works its way down. So we iterate over this loop and the inbox gets filled with a queue of messages. We take them one at a time, and the first one that arrives is the first one to get treated. So first come, first serve basis. And then we iterate over this loop and we simply address the messages until there are no messages left. So that's how the inbox parameter works in this functionality.